Welcome to RAUKANTEX in the Interior Solutions division. My name is Matthias Hacker, with me is Robert Bochmann, and today we're going to talk about quality features related to edge banding. Edge bands were originally developed without much aesthetic consideration, purely to seal the narrow surface, providing protection against impact and, above all, to prevent moisture from entering the cut particle board or MDF panel. Over the years, the product has evolved and become significantly more complex. The edge band has become a design element with high demands on quality and specification. At RAU, we've made quality our top priority. Robert, for us, quality starts quite early in the process. How do we stand in that regard?
Exactly. Quality starts as early as material procurement. The whole process is accompanied by the chemistry team who make sure that everything fits and all requirements are met. Then it continues on to color preparation. For color preparation, we also have our own in-house color lab that accompanies and checks the entire process.
Once, let's say, all the material is ready, what is the process like from the customer's perspective? Does the customer come to us with the board or with their request? How does that work?
The customer either goes to the design or collection center and can then send us their board, and then the surface is adjusted accordingly. Here too, we have very good cooperation with paper manufacturers, paper printers, surface manufacturers, board manufacturers, and so on. Here as well, we receive all the decals and surfaces very early on, and then the whole process moves into production. The surface is measured for gloss level using a gloss meter, or the texture is analyzed, and based on all these specifications, the edge band is then produced.
From this, an original sample is developed. The original sample is binding for all subsequent productions, no matter where the edge is produced. This is essentially our central element.
Every subsequent production is always set up according to this. Then, during the production process, it is very important to have ongoing checks, such as width and thickness. Let's just take a look at that. We take the caliper and we can measure on the right, in the middle, and on the left, and then we can see how the whole thing is structured. Do we have a bevel there? Are we slanted or not? I measure the width by taking the caliper and placing the edge band in here as loosely as possible and without pressing too hard, otherwise I would distort the result.
Width and thickness are of course crucial and important for passing through the machine.
The next point would be longitudinal warping. Let's hold it up so. In the processing sequence, the edge is basically applied to the workpiece, meaning we have a perfect joint and everything is fine. But if the edge band starts to drift downward or upward, then I probably have longitudinal warping. I measure longitudinal warping by taking a piece of edge banding, cutting off 2 meters, laying it on the floor against a straight wall or a straight measuring gauge, and then I can see whether the edge band curves away or towards it, depending on which direction it goes. And then I either have longitudinal warping or I don't.
The last point I think that's still important for the geometry is the pre-tension.
Pre-tension, let's look at the cross-section of the edge band. Now, we would have a pre-tension of 0. If I press up from below here, I basically get a curve upwards, which means I have a positive pre-tension. That's exactly what we need for the production process. If I press down from above now, the edge band curves the other way, and then I would have a negative pre-tension. That's harmful for the process. Why? Let's take a look at the whole thing. Negative pre-tension means the edge band curves away from the top and bottom, and I would always have an open joint, which results in poorer pressing in the pressure zone later and allows moisture to penetrate. I can also measure the whole thing with the gauge. I always use the inside, and then I can see, okay, I have a slight positive curvature or 0, so I don't have to worry about moisture or water ingress.
All the parameters we've measured, the tolerances we monitor during production, they are the ones we have accordingly. Standard tolerances as a guideline. If you have any further questions about edge banding processing or quality features related to the edge, please feel free to contact us. We from the application engineering team are happy to assist you.